My good sir, once again we are here live from Loftus Versfeld Stadium. I wanted to ask you, sir, about the number of players. Right now we have a local game. Before we had the Lions playing the Zebra, which is an Italian team, and we also had the Blue Bulls playing the Leinster, right? And we're also speaking about how players like Sia Kolisi are going international. He's going to play in France.
Yes.
How many players do we have, international players that are playing?
I think quite a big number of our current Springbok squad is actually playing abroad.
Yeah.
We even have a name up for them. We call them the Southers abroad. South African football rugby players that are playing abroad. More than half of the squad, I think, that is going to the Rugby World Cup is actually currently playing overseas. We have the likes of Cornel Hendricks. We have the likes of RG Sneeman, who played beautiful rugby over the last 2 weeks. We have the likes of Faf de Klerk, Cheslin Kobe, we have Trevor Nyakane. We have quite a few Springboks that are currently playing in the overseas leagues. And I'm quite confident that at least 50% of the team that's going to be playing in the Rugby World Cup is actually currently playing in overseas leagues.
Great
so
stuff.
It's very good as far as our talent is concerned. I think it's quite a measure of concern as far as our local league is concerned, because it says that our local league cannot afford the best of the best. But it is very good that the natural talent still comes from the local South African leagues. You know, we're still able to attract that level of play in the outside leagues, but it's still going to work out very well for the Springboks.
My good sir, I have a question now. Since the South African teams have been allowed into the Heineken Champions Cup, what does this do for our chances to get into those cups if our best players are being sent overseas?
I think first of all, it's a good boost for our revenue. You know, first things first is that the rugby unions are companies before they are rugby teams. And qualification, I'm going to let that slide. Let's just wait for that to slide. But I just want to say qualification for the Rugby Champions Cup is a big boost in revenue for the rugby teams. So that just helps us to retain some of our best players. And if we're able to retain some of our best players, I'm thinking about the likes of Kanan Moody, I'm thinking about the likes of Kurtley Aronson, and yes, I am thinking about the likes of, Irvin Etzebeth, who we haven't lost yet. But as long as we're able to attract that talent from our natural pool by playing in the highest caliber of rugby, then we're in a good place. I think it's a point of concern when all of our best players go and play overseas rugby, because it just says that our rugby unions cannot keep up with our rugby players. We have good rugby players, but do we have good rugby unions? I think the URC is a good platform for us to show the quality of play in our rugby unions. But we need to win yet another rugby union. We need to win yet another URC. And we probably need to be in the URC final or winning a URC to show the caliber of South African rugby. I think our rugby unions are in quite a peculiar place, but our rugby players are really just showing up when it counts.
Great stuff, sir. I love what you have said there. You have shared quite a bit regarding the state of rugby in our nation and the state of rugby internationally. So just the last question, sir, before we leave. What do you think can happen locally that can assist in keeping the local players? Because I understand that the local rugby teams, in order to keep these players and also compete with these international players, they have to be willing to go into their pockets and pay these guys. So what do you think that we need to do locally so that we can
quite a big boost in sponsorship revenue that needs to happen at the local sides? I think the sponsors need to put their money where their mouths is, and that's not a call, to call out the sponsors. I think the sponsors have done very well over the last few years, but I think playing at this level of rugby, we need to bump up the level of sponsorship. And I would really like to see our teams, flying business class, flying directly to play some of the games. I think some of the stories you've heard over the last 6 months or so have been horror stories. I'm hearing things of the Lions team eating hot dogs the night before the game. That can't do very well for the team morale. So I think the sponsors really need to jump in where we're falling short. I think our level of rugby is very much worth the level of sponsorship that we see in the
Super stuff. Thank you very much, sir. It seems that the second half is underway.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Cheers.